The NASCAR playoffs are on. They begin this weekend in Darlington with the top 16 drivers of the NASCAR Cup Challenge, and they're racing their way to Phoenix, Arizona at Phoenix Raceway when the new NASCAR champ will be crowned on November 7th. Barrel Boy and I had a chance to talk with our favorite new driver from the number 34 Love's Truck Stop Ford Mustang. It's Michael McDowell. Michael, it's great to see you again.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Okay, so it was, a little over a year ago. It was the middle of the pandemic, and NASCAR was, I think, the first major sport that was going to come back after everything had been shut down. We're like, well, let's get somebody on to talk about it. Barrel goes, well, let's talk to this guy from the Valley. He's got roots in Glendale. Let's talk to Michael McDowell. So we did, and the thing I remember the most about it was at the end of our chat with you, you turned the screen around and drove your own car on a NASCAR video game. I thought that was the coolest thing.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Then what happened? So you finished out last year. Last year was just weird because it was 2020 and the pandemic. But you kind of came in hot on 2021.
Fox NASCAR brings you the Daytona 500. And Michael McDowell from Glendale, Arizona, for Bob Jenkins Front Row Motorsports, has won the Daytona 500.
How about that? Yeah, got some fans cheered for that.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's just been an incredible year, kicking it off there with the Daytona 500 win. And, it's just that's the race you want to win in our sports. It's the biggest race that we have. It's the one that means the most. So to win my first race and have it be the Daytona 500 is super special. The season in NASCAR can be long and grueling. Last few weeks have been a little bit rough, but we get to reset and get the playoffs kicked off now. So excited to hit that reset button and push forward to a championship.
I'm sure that was a thrill for you, but maybe an even bigger thrill for Barrel Boy. Tell him why, Barrel.
Yeah, Michael, you went off at an 80-1 odds. I put $100 down on it. You crossed the finish line number one, and
nice.
I got paid. I was screaming, and when those two dumped each other and you crossed the line, and the line, and when now no one knew whether or not you won. It was kind of like up in the air. I also was listening on the NASCAR.com scanner app. I switched over, and I remember hearing your spotter come on and say, you just won the Daytona 500, and you were screaming. I was screaming so damn loud. I woke up 2 dogs in the house. I was running around like a madman. My girlfriend at the time was like, what is going on? I'm like, I just won a whole truckload of money on the Daytona 500 on an 80-1 long shot. The best win of my entire life.
That's awesome. Well, good. That's good. It was good for me too, so I'm glad it worked out for you.
Yeah, well, obviously it was good for you. But the question I got to ask is, so when you guys were coming down the backstretch there, and you're watching those two teammates go at you, did you really think that they would dump each other, or that they would, or are you thinking to yourself going, I'm third, I'm just going to have to see what happens here. These two are going to battle it out amongst themselves. Two teammates took each other out for the Daytona 500.
Yeah, as crazy as it sounded, I was in exactly the spot I wanted to be in to win the race. I just knew I was in the right spot. If you just think about styles, Joey's going to block. He's good at it, and he's obviously not going to let his teammate win the race. And Brad and I had such a run that I just knew that I was in the right spot. I did think I was going to win that. Coming to the white flag, I was like, man, I think I'm going to win this thing. I'm in the right spot. And turned out we were.
That was hands down one of the coolest moments. You were just in a state of shock, and it was the coolest thing in the world. Someone genuinely over the moon, flipping happy.
14th year racing in the Cup Series, Michael. Your first career win. You're a Daytona 500 champion.
I'm so thankful. Such a great way to get a first victory at Daytona 500. Are you kidding me? Oh, man.
But also your crew, because you got into a wreck earlier in the race. They had to fix the car. It wasn't perfect. And Front Row Motorsports, you guys have had your ups and downs. Those are some hardworking men and women. That had to have been a career moment for everybody in the shop as well.
It was. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, I think that's what makes it so rewarding is we're a small team. We're, we're going up against, organizations that have 600-700 people. We got 60. So, we're a small organization in regards to who we're going up against. And, a lot of the guys here at the shop, you'd hear stories that they've been in, NASCAR for 30 years, never won the 500. This is their first 500. And, they're getting calls from their aunts and uncles and high school friends that they haven't heard of. I mean, it's a big deal for everybody that works here. And so it was really special to hear those stories and just what it meant to everybody that works on this team and works on the race cars and has been a part of it. It is definitely a big deal.
I don't know, how has life changed for you in this last year with all the success starting with Daytona? Do people treat you any differently, or do you get to walk a little taller in your race boots?
Yeah, I think that it's a tricky question, because in the areas of life, like how has your life changed? Not much has changed, right? Professionally, though, like with teams and partners and in the sport, you're signing more autographs, you're doing more interviews, things like that. But as far as every day and what that looks like, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. But at the same time, racing you're only as good as your last race, right? And so unfortunately you don't get to stay in that moment forever. The result will be forever, but you're pretty focused on what's in front of you next. And so you enjoy it, but at the same time you can't just bask in it, because it's over very quickly when you get to the next race.
Well, it's been a great story so far, but I think it could have an unbelievable finish if when the championship, which now is in Phoenix, it happens here, and you're one of the 16 in the chase. Congratulations on that. And also, how special would it be for you to win that just miles from where you were from?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be awesome. Obviously, championship rounds in Phoenix. We have a whole lot of work to do before we can get there, though. So my mind is really fixed on getting through that first round. These next 3 races are the most important races in my career. And, once we get through those, we can focus on round 2 and then 3 and then, the final 4. But, right now, just focusing on what we got to do to get through this first one. And, obviously there's going to be a champion crowned in Phoenix, and I'd love to be, fighting for that, when I get to Phoenix and in front of the hometown. But we got to get through these first 3 races before we can even get there.
How often do you come back to Phoenix and Glendale? Where did you go to high school out here?
Yeah, so, we come back obviously a couple times a year for the races, and then a couple times to see family. And I went to, I was in Deer Valley School District, Deer Valley High School. That's where my wife graduated. I did not graduate. I didn't finish. I was already racing and doing things full time. So I did homeschooling through high school. But that's the area we grew up in.
Well, son, you're going to need to finish that GED so that you have something good to fall back on. Okay.
That's right. Absolutely.
Well, listen, man, we can't be more enamored with your success and ready to root for you as you take on all these rounds and make it all the way to Phoenix for the championship run in the number 34 Mustang for Front Row Motorsports and the Loves Truck Stops Ford. It's great to see you, man, and I love that you're in your suit. I wish you could turn it around and race again in your car, but we'll be rooting for the real one in the 3D world. And it's certainly a pleasure to get to talk to you and get to see you and know that you've had a great year, Michael.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys.